British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said that Hamas can play no role in the future governance of Palestine. Speaking at a news conference alongside US President Donald Trump, Starmer emphasized the importance of focusing on humanitarian aid in Gaza, but added that planning for the post-ceasefire scenario is also crucial. We have to be absolutely clear that Hamas can play no part in any future governance in Palestine, Starmer said, highlighting the importance of acknowledging what triggered the conflict and who took hostages. Meanwhile, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot has reiterated that a two-state solution is the only viable path forward for both Israelis and Palestinians. Speaking at a United Nations conference addressing the stalled peace process, he said only a political two-state solution will help respond to the legitimate aspirations of Israelis and Palestinians to live in peace and security. There is no alternative. President Donald Trump also commented on the situation in Gaza, expressing concern over what he described as signs of real starvation. Referring to children affected by the conflict, Trump said, "I mean some of those kids, that's real starvation stuff." Trump announced that the US will set up food centers in Gaza to help with the hunger crisis, saying, "We're going to set up food centers where the people can walk in and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences."
We're going to set up food centers. And we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people, and we're going to supply funds. And we just took in trillions of dollars. We have a lot of money, and we're going to spend a little money on some food. And other nations are joining us. I know your nation's joining us, and we have all of the European nations joining us, and others also have called, and they want to be helpful. So we're going to set up food centers and where the people can walk in.
Trump and Starmer also agreed on the need for a ceasefire in Gaza and discussed plans for post-aid recovery during their meeting in Scotland. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah Al-Sisi has urged Trump to intervene and end the conflict in Gaza. In a video address, Sisi said, "The time has come to end the war," calling Trump the one capable of stopping the war, bringing in aid, and ending this suffering. Trump also said he told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the ongoing fight in Gaza against Hamas would have to be different, especially after previous ceasefire and hostage negotiations fell apart. When asked whether he supports recognition of a Palestinian state, Trump declined to take a stance, saying, "I'm not going to take a position. I'm looking for people getting fed. Right now, I think that's the number one position." Separately, Israeli rights groups B'Tselem and Physicians for Human Rights issued a joint statement warning of a genocidal regime in Israel, accusing it of working to destroy Palestinian society in Gaza.
The report we are publishing today is one we never imagined we would have to write. But in recent months, we have been witnessing a reality that has left us no choice but to acknowledge the truth. Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. So for the past 22 months, we have witnessed unprecedented levels of civilian killings, of deliberate starvation, forced mass displacement, and the total destruction of most infrastructure necessary for human and social existence. The people of Gaza have been displaced, bombed, and starved, left completely stripped of their humanity and rights.
Today, Physicians for Human Rights Israel is publishing a report detailing Israel's actions in Gaza. We focus on Article 2C of the Genocide Convention, the deliberate infliction of conditions of life calculated to bring about the group's destruction. This legal definition acknowledges that genocide can occur through systemic and infrastructural means, not only through mass killings. We show how Israel's actions have led to the destruction of the conditions necessary for the survival of Palestinians in Gaza. Systematic destruction of the healthcare system, denial of access to food, blocking of medical evacuations, and using humanitarian aid to advance military targets all indicate a clear pattern of conduct, a pattern that reveals intent.
Israelis all around, Israelis who share our values and general approach to life, which is to respect human dignity and human rights, are struggling these days. All of them. Not only human rights defenders, not only our colleagues, we see it all around. I have to say it's not the mainstream of the Israeli society today. I say it with a lot of pain. The mainstream of Israel society today is still, as we hear it from the mainstream media on the street, is still completely holding completely this notion that everything we are doing in Gaza has a justification because of October 7th.
They live the hunger and the starvation for a long time, since they left the Gaza Strip, but they lived there.
To recognize, to really fully understand that your country, your collective, is actually committing genocide is a very hard process, mental process and personal process. Not only because it puts us in risk, in all kinds of risks, that's also true. But more than that, because it breaks something very internally, very, very basic about who we are and who we think about ourselves and who we thought we could have been. To do more. There are governments around the world which are doing more than others, and there are governments who are completely supporting of this. And once you see it, once you cross that line, I think everything becomes very, very clear about what you need to do. And in that sense, I hope many other Israelis will follow and join this struggle to stop the genocide.
I spoke to Shai, Ran, and Yair over there. Okay, so and thank you everyone for coming. Of course,
Now, when it comes to this accusation of genocide, yes, of course, we have free speech here in Israel, but we strongly reject the accusation. It is baseless. There is no intent. Key for the charge of genocide, there is no intent. It simply doesn't make sense for a country to send in 1.9 million tons of aid, most of that being food, if there is an intent of genocide. It's completely incongruous.
It feels difficult to me as an Israeli, as a Jew, to watch those images and feel anything but tremendous compassion and horror, to be honest. I feel horror. I'm a mother, I watch women holding their babies and it makes me feel despair.
For me, a life is a life, and it's sad. No one should die there.